Good morning. Today is chemo day 17. Chemo effects, again, so far still hair loss, which proved to be somewhat embarrassing last night. So last night was very interesting. As I mentioned before, I was a Ride for the Roses white jersey winner, which means that I raised over $10,000 for Livestrong. There are different tiers of the Ride for the Roses, and they go in sync with the jerseys of the Tour de France, with the topping the yellow jersey, which means that you raise $30,000 or more. But see, I've got my white wristband on. So all weekend, the kids is my guest. Oh, I don't want to sneeze. You have to wear these wristbands, and we get special privileges like being able to take a van. We get access to certain things. They have a couple of exclusive events, and one of them was last night, and that was the Welcome to Texas dinner. And on our tags,
what are you doing?
I'm doing my vlog.
Hi, vlog.
It's the monkey. She's my roommate. I get the king size by myself, but she gets a cot.
Cat.
So if you see on the back, really, truly, it says, "Welcome to Texas." Hold on. "Welcome to Texas dinner, secret location." See how it says secret location right there? So we really had no idea where we were going last night. The kids kept saying, "We're going to Lance's house. We're going to Lance's house," and I'm like, "There's no way he's going to let us to his house." Lance owns a property called Juan Pelota's Ranch, so I was like, well, maybe he'll. But I'm gonna get to that. Shush. So, and he hosts mountain bike races and things like that, and they said it was going to be an outdoor location, wear flats and blah blah blah. So, I'm thinking it's going to be Juan Pelota's Ranch, maybe his buddy College's restaurant, hangar, something like that. Anyway, Chris Brewer's the chief operations officer, and he's on our bus. And pretty much as soon as the door shut, he's like, "So do you want to know where we're going?" Everybody's like, "Yeah." And he said, "We're going to Lance's house." And I'm like, "What?" And we were sitting with Chris. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? We're going to Lance's house?" And he's like, "Nope, we're going to Lance's house." And I just turned, the kids were like, "See, we told you." I'm like, I can't believe you guys were right. So last night, truly, we were partying with Lance Armstrong at his house. And not like a show house. This is his actual residence. Would you shush? I'm getting to it. Not his actual residence, which was, of course, stunning. And you walk in, and there's this beautiful art piece. I mean, his art collection is just out of this world. We're going through cocktail hour. We got to meet Chris Horner, who, for those of you who aren't cycling fans, is a member of Team Radio Shack. He is one of cycling's top riders, certainly one of the top Americans. And this year he was slated to be a contender for winning the yellow jersey of the Tour de France, but he suffered a horrible crash. It was awful. They were broadcasting it. It made us cry seeing the crash. But then he gets back on the bike and he rides, and I think he's still had like another 30 or 40 miles to go, and he finishes the race. And it was very clear he did something to his nose. He's got a tiny little perky nose, and it's not tiny and perky. And he crosses the finish line, and the team guys come over and what's typical is they'll put the hands on the rider and push the rider, so the rider doesn't actually have to pedal, and they kind of push you to the bus. And Chris Horner kept repeating, he was like, "Did I finish? How did I get here? Did I finish?" And he'd pause, and then he'd say it over again. And it was like his short-term memory was like 30 seconds. But it was so scary to see. And as they're putting him on the gurney, because clearly he had to go, he keeps asking, "Wait, did I finish the tour? Did I finish? Did I win? How did I get here?" And it was so horrifying. So it was great to just see him up on his feet, and we had a nice chat with him.
Saying, "Did I win? Did I finish?"
Right, yeah, well, I think they got that, Boo. That was how we started. That was cocktail hour. And Ariella, being my daughter, I trained her very well. She got right to the front of the buffet line, and as soon as they let us through, she fills her plate and goes running off to get a table. And she gets the table right in the front next to the last reserved table, which was very cool. So we were right near the podium, and all night the kids were like, "Where's Lance? Where's Lance?" I'm like, "Guys, it's his house. He's not going to get very far." And we knew he would be there. David Blaine was there, which was really cool. A bunch of other people I know, are you just relax. A bunch of other people were there, and it turns out that of everybody sitting next to me was another breast cancer survivor. She, the same age that I am. I think she's a year younger. She lost her hair in Austin 2 years ago. She didn't shave but she did ultimately shave it. It was pretty much gone by the time she got here, and her husband offered to shave it for her, which was just really cool to talk to somebody who not only had the same cancer, or at least the same body part affected, but to hear she lost her hair and she looks beautiful, and she actually decided to keep it the pixie cut, to keep it short. But it was really great to be sitting next to somebody who was in the same boat that I was in, and who was still actively dating. Yeah, because I take the back. I don't think that's her husband. I think it's her boyfriend. They've been together for a while, but it was very cool. And of course they're awarding the top individuals and fundraisers, and that was amazing to hear some of these guys' stories, including a gentleman who runs Blood, Sweat, and Chemo, whose blog very much inspired mine. I'm rika.livestrong.blogspot.com. And I'll post the Blood, Sweat, Chemo in the description. But sure enough, Lance shows up, and what I loved was that you could, he's only 2 tables away from us. Yeah, I'm always 2 tables away from the people that are, ooh. And so there's Lance, and we see him hanging out with his buddies College and Lee Applebaum, who's the chief marketing officer of Radio Shack. And I'm trying to think who else was at. Oh, there was the actor from My Name is Earl. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Do bear in mind it's 6 o'clock in the morning here, and we're getting ready not just to go breakfast, but to do a 5K run.
No, my 5K run.
Ariel's doing the 5K. I have no idea what I'm probably going to do the 5K waddle, because I'm not a runner. But anyway, so Lance is there, and you can see his 2 babies are there with his girlfriend, with Anna. And it's bedtime, they're in their pajamas, and baby gets put down, and Max is running around, and Lance gets up to speak, and Max is like, "That's my daddy!" And he's just running around the yard. It was
cyclist first. That's my
cyclist. Right, that's my cyclist. I mean, he was just being very cute. And Ariel really, really, really wanted to meet Lance. And did you guys, was it before or after he spoke? It was after he spoke. Yeah. So Lance is speaking. No, it was before. It was before. So before Lance gets up, my daughter was really, as you can see, she's so shy. She decided that it was only polite to thank the host of the party for having us.
Said I couldn't say hi.
Well, I told her that, I was like, no, leave him alone. He's with his friends. He's hanging out. He's actively eating, like you could see him chewing. I'm like, leave him alone. The guy's just eating dinner. And she's like, but it's not polite to be at somebody's house who's hosting a party and not thank them. And I was like, well, you're right. I usually bring flowers, so I do kind of feel badly about that. And she said, I'm going to go thank him. And I'm like, no, okay, fine. I was just too tired of arguing with her. And my son goes to accompany her. And sure enough, next thing I know, they're chit-chatting with Lance. I'm like, that's crazy. So, they come back, and, they're all giddy and everything. And I was like, did you get a picture? And they said, no, we didn't get a picture. And I'm like, see, so now you're in the same boat as I am when my friend introduced me at Gracie Mansion last month. So after the awards dinner happens, and afterwards the kids decide that they want to get a picture taken. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a nightmare. So we're gonna get kicked out, whatever. So they go running over, and I'm lurking just to be able to swoop and say, oh my god, I had no idea, and just kind of take them away. Well, sure enough, they get up to Lance, and my son grabs my hand. And he's like, Mom, come on. I'm like, no, it's okay. I've met him before. I was like, believe me, there's so many other people here. And they just both looked at me, and they were like, you're so annoying. Just come with us. So I did. And, Lance is like, he remembered me. I said, oh, it was great meeting you last month at Gracie Mansion. And he was like, oh, yeah. Wait, you had your hair up. And I'm like, what? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, no, you had your hair up. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I said, well, don't worry about it, because I'm going to be losing all my hair anyway. He's like, oh yeah, how's that going? I was like, well, I'm going to have to apologize, but there are clumps of my hair all over your backyard. And he's like, no. He's like, he's like, it's fine, don't worry. I guess I should realize he probably doesn't do his own lawn mowing. But we got pictures with him. The kids got to meet David Blaine, which was really cool. He molded quarters in their hands, again, like right in front of us. I really don't know how this guy does it. I was telling the kids he's amazing. And then